I've been. In this life there's nothing certain, simply curtain that rises to the stage. Silly games of second guessing, I just forget the lessons that I couldn't learn. Because one street over there's a life I could have known, would have kept me from the one I had today. I took a walk one street over from my home, cracked and broken asphalt everywhere. I could have ended up just like that.
All right, good morning. You are tuned into 1100 WSGI, and this is Lee Marie in for U-Turn LaVern on One Street Over, along with Steve Gerald.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. All right, before we get any further, let's go ahead and go to the Lord in prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for the gift of this new day. Please fill our minds with peace, our hearts with courage, and our words with kindness. Please guide our decisions, strengthen us through our challenges, help us walk with wisdom and grace. Let us be a source of encouragement and blessing to others. Thank you for your angels of protection over us, our homes, our loved ones. Thank you for opening doors that are meant for us and for giving us patience for the things that are still unfolding. We cancel all the enemy's assignments on us. No evil formed against us shall prosper. May we not be ruled by fear, distraction, or frustration, but by faith, clarity, and purpose to align with your perfect will. Remind us that your mercy is new every morning and that you are with us. Please bless this day with favor, productivity, your joy, and peace that passes all understanding. And please take today's show exactly where you want it to go. In the mighty and matchless name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. All right. So I did that prayer for Joe Peterson because I ran into her in Aldi and she said, you know what? I love that prayer that you did about a month ago. So I pulled that back up for you, Joe. So today is a very, very special day. We are going to be doing a tribute to our dear friend, the legendary Neil Peterson.
Neil Peterson.
Yes. And for those of you that don't know, he did pass away May 29th at his home here in Springfield, peacefully. And today is his birthday.
Yeah.
And it's also the day that we're going to be doing a military honor memorial over at Springfield Memorial Gardens, and that's going to be from 2 to 2:30. So we hope that you all can come out to that and pay tribute to this amazing man. But what Steve and I have the honor of doing today is to do a show specifically a tribute for Neil.
Tribute to Neil. So we invite you to call in, and we would like to hear from you. If you knew, I was with Neil at the station for about 15 years, or maybe a little more, but who's counting? I don't know. But working for Neil and Joe, and gosh, it was a pleasure. Spoiled me, though. It did spoil me because it was a real radio, that he believed in all of us here enough that knowing that we were professional, that we knew what to say, what not to say, to bring joy and not insult anybody. And there were a few moments, we'd play tricks on each other, and I can tell you about those. We didn't get fired. One in particular during Swap and Shop. We'll have to revisit Swap and Shop for a minute.
One thing that I do want to do before we get deep into the show is I do want to give people that phone number so that if they want to call in, they can write that down. So, and actually, if you go to my Facebook page, which is just Lee Marie, 2 words, the tribute information comes up. It's at the top of my feed. Matter of fact, I am going to read this because not everybody knows some of his background. Neil was a United States Army veteran. of course, former owner of WDBL and WSGI, and of course, a longtime community leader. He was on so many boards.
Yes, you were.
And, he had such an impact, just such a kind man and so smart and, a lot better with technology than I am.
Soft-spoken.
Yes.
Very soft-spoken.
Yeah, very sweet soul. So if you'd like to send something call us in, the call number is 615-212-5534. Again, that's 615-212-5534. This tribute is being videoed on not only YouTube, on the Facebook page for WSGI, but also the YouTube Facebook page. And then you can listen on the WSGI phone app or, of course, on the radio, 1100. So I hope you guys will tune in, and please share this right now, especially if you know people that knew Neil. Tell them to tune in, and by all means, you can call in, but you can also post. We're going to be watching this Facebook feed here, which has a comment section. So you can put a comment in there if you prefer to do that. Or, of course, if you have something longer, you can email it to retroleemarie@gmail.com. We'll be checking emails as well. But I know I wanted to have Steve here because I knew that he had endless stories.
More people know me as Daddy-O on the patio.
Yes, that is true. I should be saying that.
Steve Gerald, even after the years I've been gone, I'll walk, I'll be in Springfield, and people say, Daddy-O, hey, Daddy-O. So I like it.
All right. But you want me to refer to you as Daddy-O?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, all right. So, but I know we did have like an audio clip that came in, which we'll be playing that a little bit later. And also, I had some comments that come in, so we'll sprinkle those in. But I like where you were going there, so if I can just go back to you and just talk about the early days of WDBL and WSGI.
Well, we had some great people working here. Bill Gray was a hoot. He was such a funny guy, and he and I we would wait when the fair came to town, not to go ride rides or anything, but to go to eat the Polish sausage, stuff like that, and plus hot dogs. He loved hot dogs, but he was a great guy here, and he had some fabulous stories, like and they were real stories, like Thanksgiving, somebody throwing live turkeys out the window of the courthouse, and people grabbing them and ripping them apart and blood going everywhere. But anyway, it's things like that. It's true stuff that Neil would allow us to do. And you don't get that anymore. You don't get what I call live radio anymore. There's about 3 or 4 major corporations that own the stations. You tune them in. They give the time, the weather, their sponsors. Free tickets they're going to give away to this and that. And that's all you hear. And they call them radio personalities. That's wrong, because there aren't any radio personalities. Mm-hmm. But Neil allowed us to be personalities. We all had our own personality. And knock on wood, he didn't fire any of us. Well, maybe he did, but not me. But to give you an example, now this is not a very good one. Brad Carneal did Swap and Shop, and he had his buddies, and Brad had his little tricks too. Well, before I came on the air, they played this trick and said that food at Kroger, meats at Kroger was on sale for 25 cents a pound.
Uh-oh.
So, and they thought it was funny, and it seems like maybe it was Senior's Day or something too. I can't remember exactly what. So anyway, I come on my shift, and I get a call from the manager of Kroger, and boy, he just cussed me out one way up one way and down the other. I said, I have no idea what you're talking about. And, it was things like that. Swap and Shop really was a lot of fun at times. There was one guy that used to call in, and it got down to, you'd get a lot of people, the same people every day. One guy used to call and say, I've got baseball cards for sale. I said, well, great. And then the next day, I've got baseball cards for sale. Finally, I said, how many, you have baseball cards for sale, right? He says, yeah. I said, how do I get in touch with you? I'm going to come over and buy every one of them. And I did. I went over, I thought I'd bought every one of them, till the next day when the phone rings and he says, this is so-and-so. I've got baseball cards for sale. And I'm saying, you rascal, you.
So he still had more.
Oh, he still had more. He still had
goodness.
more. But the point is that Neil would let us, maybe we didn't do everything to please him, like that joke of 25 cents a pound.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, we had the opportunity, and it kind of spoiled me because I do an internet show now because I can be real radio like Neil taught me.
Right. And, when you said, you had the opportunity, that just really reminded me of one thing that LaVern was talking to me about, Neil, last night. She said she was so thankful that he gave her the opportunity because in 2030, she is going to be able to say that she has worked in radio for 50 years.
Yeah.
And she said that would not have come about if it wasn't for Neil. And apparently, back in the day, I mean, we all know that, U-Turn did traffic for like 25 or so years, right? And after that, apparently Neil had been contacting her on a regular basis, trying to get her to come over. And she never had the time or, the time, that was good. And then, when Dick left and that 7 to 8 spot opened and Neil called LaVern, she said, absolutely, I can do that time. And then she has been here ever since.
Yeah.
And so,
She's fabulous, by the way.
Yeah. She owes, her career here, of course, to Neil, but then also the milestone of getting to do 50 years in radio, because of Neil. And I did get to, work briefly with Neil because when I came on to help LaVern, he was the owner. And so, and I still remember doing, the first commercial that I ever did was with Joe, and we had a blast. I forget even now what we were, I think it was probably like a trash pickup or something. I don't even remember what it was that we were doing a little ad for, but, we decided we wanted to do it together. And
Joe knew Elvis.
oh, that's
Did you
pretty
know
cool.
that?
No, I did not know
Yeah,
that.
down in Memphis. She's from Memphis. She knew Elvis.
Well, we've got to have Joe on too.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, Joe, we're going to have you on this week.
That always fascinated me. She's the only one that that I know that personally,
cool.
that knew Elvis.
Well, I know both of them. I mean, they really are, radio royalty.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
And especially back in the day when this was the heyday, I mean, this was it. I know that a lot of people just from all over were listening because it was the station.
Well, I was on the air for over 30 years, and when I first started here, it was WDBL and WSGI. WDBL was bought out, I think, by a company out of Nashville, and it was the 50th anniversary for WDBL. They were doing a relay for life, and one of the announcers they wanted to have a booth set up, and doing the 50th anniversary, they wanted to play like 50s music. And, of course, they didn't have any, I guess, in their catalog, but one of the DJs there at the time said, well, Steve Gerald lives here in town, and he has a band, the Sons of the Beach, and they play oldies, and he's probably got a big collection. So they called me and asked me if I would come and to be in that booth and do a show of 50s music for Relay for Life. Of course, I said yes. And so I volunteered to do that. And then they started getting calls at the station because they liked that stuff. And WDBL said to me, well, we would love for you to have you come on the air. We're getting a lot of requests for it, but we can't afford to pay you. And I said, well, don't worry about that. I make my living off playing music, with the band, which I did at the time. So anyway, I came on and started doing DBL. And then DBL sold. And so that's when Neil called me and says, you want to come over to WSGI? We'd love to have you on the show, doing what you did. And so at first I said, well, I don't know. And then he'd call me and say, well, can you fill in for so-and-so? Can you fill in for so-and-so? Yeah, I can do that. And then finally I said, I'm really enjoying this, and I really like the Petersons, so yeah, I'll come over. So that's how I ended up on WSGI.
All right. Well, I'm going to play that. I do have Perry Fisher's audio here that he has sent in. And so I'm going to see if we can play that right now. I'm just going to put this up to the microphone here.
Hello, my name is Perry Fisher. I hosted Sunday mornings playing Southern gospel music on WSGI radio for many, many years. When Neil bought the station, I was not sure if I would be able to continue my Sunday morning programming. Not only was I allowed to stay on, Neil gave me the freedom to continue however I wanted. Neil was a good man who did a lot for Springfield and Robertson County. He will be missed.
Oh, that was very nice. Thank you, Perry Fisher, for that. And again, if you would like to send in an audio clip on my messenger, you can certainly do that. Or you can put a comment in the comment section of the show. It's on the WSGI Facebook page. It's also running live on the U-Turn LaVern Vivio Facebook page as well. So you can put comments in there. And then also, of course, you can call in. And if you need any information on that, you can go to my Facebook page and get that phone number. But I will give out that number one more time as well. Do you mind shutting that door, please?
Okay.
Okay, the number is 615-212-5534. Again, that's 615-212-5534. That's the call-in number for WSGI here. And we are, again, doing a tribute to Neil Peterson, who today at 2, from 2 to 2:30, you can go over to the Springfield Memorial Gardens, and that is where a graveside memorial is going to happen with military honors. He was a Vietnam veteran, and so we do thank the whole family for that as well. But I'm here today filling in for U-Turn LaVern. She is taking some time off. As you know, she's a teacher, and she has a lot of stuff to get caught up on. So I'm going to be filling in for her until after the 4th of July holiday. So you can feel free to email me or text me on anything. But today we wanted to specifically set it aside for Neil, because he was loved by so many people in the community. You know, he was a part of Kiwanis and the chamber, and just, just everywhere. And he was so kind. And I know that we got a comment in from John Briggs, Pastor John Briggs over there, saying that he was a fine soul and a kind mind. So
That's my preacher.
That's your preacher.
That's my preacher.
Oh, I didn't know that's where you went. Oh, now they're fixing to do a big, is it on the 4th? Because I just saw a post that they're going to do something over there at Highland Chapel, right?
Yeah, it's great. It's a great church. Great church.
Yeah, I just read that they were going to be doing something. I think it's on the 4th. I want to
Got a great choir.
Oh.
I go for the music. I'm kidding, Brother John.
Oh, goodness.
No, they do a fantastic choir, and I just love it there.
I'm going to mention this just real quick because he did send that comment in. So, yes, Highland Chapel Union Church is going to be doing on Saturday, July 4th. They are going to be doing a holiday gathering at their Family Life Center there. So parking is on Virginia Avenue. They will have barbecue, burgers, hot dogs, and all the fixins and desserts. And then it said make some music. They're going to do some music. So there you go, Steve.
I'll be in Nashville. I'm sorry. I can't.
Okay. Well, let me see if I can get a time for you. Relax with good food, music, and friends. They are starting the gathering at 3 p.m. So 3 p.m. on the 4th of July. If you don't want to go to some of those big madhouse festivals, you just want to go to a smaller, hometown one. There you go. Highland Chapel Union Church. And, let me give you the address, because some people here are new in town. Unless you know the address by heart. Do you, Steve?
Do I?
Yeah.
Ridgetop.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not.
I see a Virginia Avenue, but I don't think it's on Virginia Avenue.
Yeah, it's not too far into Ridgetop.
No. So, just go, if you're, there's only one traffic light in Ridgetop. So you come to the traffic light, turn right, and then go down, and you'll see, and you can turn to the left and go in there.
There you go.
Yeah, because like I said, we only have one traffic light.
All right.
We used to have a library till somebody lost the book and it had barely been colored in.
Oh, goodness. All right. Okay, so we are back. Let me get the camera back on you, Steve. You've got a lot more stories than I do because you have a lot more history than I do.
Well, I'm trying to Buzzy Poole, our mayor, called in a few minutes ago, and I had my phone on silent, so maybe I should take it off silent. But I didn't.
You want to?
Well, I just text him.
Oh, yeah.
Say, call back.
Yeah, he can call on your phone, and we'll put that up. It's probably going to be easier.
We can do that. We can do that.
Very good. That's true. I will be watching my phone as well in case.
Speaking of that,
Yes.
I saw Buzzy last night, and Buzzy and his daughter and I, we sat together. We went to it was a soft opening, I think, of the new theater, or the old theater brought back to life. It is fabulous. I want to tell you, it is fabulous.
Oh, I have a really sweet comment that just came in from Senator Kerry Roberts. As you know, he was very close with Neil.
He was.
They were very good friends. And he just said he was visiting Neil last summer. And he said, as I was getting up to leave, Neil said to me, I pray for you every day. And he said, despite everything Neil was going through, he was taking time to pray for me. That's not a better friend than that.
That's right.
So that's very sweet. Thank you, Senator Kerry. That I love that story. And y'all please.
Senator Kerry's a good man too, I must tell you. He wrote me a nice letter one time, and that he took the time to write the letter to me, and I appreciate that, Senator, very much, very much. But that's the kind of person Neil was. That's the kind of person Joe is.
Yeah.
And I tell you, I miss him. I'll miss him. But he's in a better place.
That's right.
I mean, the last time I saw him, he wasn't capable of hearing much or seeing, and but he's with God now, and he's hearing everything and seeing everything, and he's feeling good. Hello. Just go ahead and talk for a second. Wait a minute. Should I? Oh, he's. I don't know who you're talking to.
Go ahead and talk. I need to.
You're saying you talk. Who am I talking to?
No, just talk on the.
Oh, just talk on the air. I don't know where you're going. Okay. All right. Yeah. We're glad to be here this morning to do this tribute. And I'm honored that they invited me to come down. It's been a long time. I sure miss being on the air here. I really do. We had a lot of fun, and a lot of the guys listening in, that we worked with here at the station, and Brad Carneal being one of them, the jokester, I call him, and several other DJs down, and everybody loved it because, like I said, he would let us have our own personalities, and we would take requests too. That's something else you don't hear a lot anymore. People say, "Well, call in your request," and you call it in, and they may play it or they may not, and my situation over the years of performing with my group, the Sons of the Beach, at the time, we wrapped it up after 42 years about a year ago, and in that time we backed over 80, I lost count at 82, 83 oldies stars from the 50s, 60s, and 70s. And a couple of 80s. And, it was neat to be able to share those stories with the public. And Neil would allow me to do that. I would see him from time to time, he and Joe, when he was able to get around, at some of the stores around town, and we would have the chance to chat. And I would occasionally had the opportunity to drop by the house and see how everybody was doing, and he and Joe, and it was hard. It was hard to see him in that condition at the time, and it was also hard to know what Joe was going through, trying to take care of him. And you might not know this, but she did, and she tried to help him up one time and fell and broke her own hip. So, God bless her.
I do have the mayor of Springfield on the phone that does have a comment. So go ahead, Buzzy. I got you on air.
Yes, ma'am. I just want to call in, and on behalf of the city of Springfield, we owe a large debt of gratitude to Neil. He put Springfield on the map. with the radio station, which benefited so many people in our community. He was always there to help any way he could. Neil's going to be missed. He was an innovator. He was a bold person, because to come into Springfield and take over a radio station was a big thing to do. And he had the courage to do it. He had the integrity to do it. And people gravitated to him. And I just wanted to say on behalf of the city of Springfield, it was great to know Neil, and thank him so much for what he did for our city.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate that.
Yes.
All right. So yes, that's a good point. He put Springfield on the map because, everybody knew about the station. I think that was like the most famous thing, and thank God that, we had people like Neil that were willing to step up and, like you said, be bold.
Yeah. And like I said, he would let us have our own personalities, which you don't get anymore in radio. I'm telling you. Well, very few. I'm sure there's some out there that still do, but very few. And I love the opportunity. And it enabled me to grow. And it's helped me in so many ways, not only just as a radio announcer, but in other things I did for life, as far as entertainment. And it taught me a lot. And another thing there's things that it taught me, like when you're on the radio, talk to the people, not at the people. And that's very important because a lot of people sometimes, especially when you reach out to people that live at home, that you may be the only source or the only other voice they hear all day long. Mm-hmm. So you show compassion, So he taught us to listen when people would call in. He taught us to do the best we could if they had a song they wanted to hear. I mean, yeah, I did oldies, but if somebody called in and wanted to hear a gospel song, by golly, I'm going to play them a gospel song. And that's just the way it was, and we could do that. In a lot of stations now, songs, hits from when I was here, let's go back in time for songs from the 60s, and then let's go back in time for songs from the 70s, and now, hey, let's have an 80s party, tune in, it went on like that, but not with us, which was great.
Mm-hmm. And that's one thing, that I think is cool that, is continuing with the station is that, we're not playing, we don't have to play all of the stuff that everybody else has to play.
Right.
We're I think it's exciting. We're kind of carrying the torch, by.
And plus, getting to know a lot of these artists that had hits in the 50s and 60s and 70s, they still recorded good stuff. He still made a good example was Ray Peterson that had Tell Laura I Love Her back in the day. But he was always recording good material, but you'd never hear it because oldie stations wouldn't play it because it was new, and new stations wouldn't play it because it was an oldies artist. But they would call the daddy-o, and they would know they would get played, and I would get thank you. And by doing that, I did have a website at one time called that I would list these, and I called it Nostalgia Records. And I would play these songs, and I would have people from like the Letterman and the Moody Blues and the Wings and groups in England, Deep Purple, Ian Gillan, and just all kinds of acts that the Kingston Trio, for example, but just all kinds of acts that would call, and some of them would even come by and see me here, like Ronnie McDowell and Billy Joe Royal. They used to come and sit and hang out with me and do the show, and you just don't get that anymore.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. That is a good point. Excellent. All right. Who else was working when you started? What year was it that you started here?
I was trying to remember. Like I say, where was I? I just gotten back from
approximately.
Oh,
I'll give you a 5-year window. How's that?
89, 90.
Okay.
Somewhere, maybe 90.
Okay.
whenever their 50th anniversary was here.
Oh,
You can look
okay.
that up, whatever that year was,
Okay. So about 25 years ago.
I guess.
Okay.
Like I said, who's counting? I can't remember yesterday. What are you talking about? Let me see. I'm trying to see if we got any messages here.
All right, we're going to check that. But right now, I'm going to go ahead and do one of our sponsor ads. And just to remind you guys, we are doing a tribute to Neil Peterson today. His military honor tribute is going to be over at Springfield Memorial Gardens from 2 to 2:30. And we hope that you will come out for that. In the meantime, though, feel free to message in comments and or call in, and we will get you on the air. We just had Buzzy call in, with a wonderful city thank you from Neil. Yes.
I just wanted to say, if you're on Facebook, you can go to Daddy-O on the Patio and drop me off a message there.
Okay, you can put a message there, and we will read that. Okay, very good. Right now, though, I do want to thank Barry and Rebecca Richards from Exit Prime Realty for being the longest full-time sponsor of One Street Over. They have a brand new office right there in the square on Main Street, and it's absolutely beautiful. If you haven't gone in there yet, you really need to go in there, talk to them, find out. Maybe you just want to get some information. There's no commitment. Just go in there and give them a talk. Their number is 615-504-7425. Again, that's 615-504-7425. You can also email them at becky@sellwithbecky.com. They are our experts in real estate for both Tennessee and Kentucky. And we know that there's a lot of great things going up on the market right now. So you want to make sure you take advantage of those, but then also find out, what your property is worth now, because you may be surprised at how much more it is worth than you thought. And, they've been here in Robertson County for almost 30 years. And so they really know this area. And there's like a lot of, new realtors out there, but you want to go to somebody that has the experience and that really knows the neighborhoods. And so go ahead and give them a call. Thank you, Barry and Rebecca Richards with Exit Prime Realty for being our sponsor. And now back to Steve Gerald, because I can tell he wants to say something. Go ahead.
No, I was just, I'm thinking of some of the DJs that worked with us before. Dick Veach. I don't know. I think he might have left after I did, and I think he moved back to Chicago, somewhere where he was from. But we had some excellent people on the air here, and just off the cuff, a lot of the names don't come up for me because it's been a while since I was here. But had some really good people. And Neil and I would have conversations on occasion about the military. Like I said, he served in Vietnam, and I was in the Air Force the same period of time. So we had that going for us in common too, that we would occasionally talk about. And like I said, I used to love to, and still do, love to talk to Joe, and memories of Elvis back in the day before Elvis became worldwide Elvis, you might say. But I guess you would have to have experienced here, and I think I would hear from other radio announcers that are on different stations, that said, "Hey, we wish we had the opportunity that you had, to do what you do, and what we would like to do." He would fill in from time to time, and he was a longtime friend, and we did a lot of things together. Was Doc Damon? Doc Damon was on TV. He was the announcer for a lot of shows. Just one, Crook and Chase, that comes to mind, and he would come up here and fill in for us when we needed somebody. Like if I needed maybe a few days off to go out and tour with the band. There would all be, and that's another thing. We had the freedom to do that. I would say, Neil, I got this opportunity to go work here, so and so, out of state or whatever, and you'd say, okay, we'll get you covered, and he said, who, and that's how Doc came into play. He said, who do you recommend? I said, well, somebody that knows the music, and my first pick would be Doc Damon, and so Doc would do it, and it was just a great working relationship with all of us. And I would like to hear from you all. Like I said, give us a call here at the radio station, and let us put you on the air. And if you had memories of the show, and if you have memories of Swap and Shop, I'd love to hear those stories. There's a lot of stories from callers that went on during Swap and Shop. That was, and they don't do that anymore.
I would like to bring back Swap and Shop.
Swap and Shop, if nothing else, would be a great podcast.
Yeah. Now, I do have Colonel Chris Orndorff on the phone. He wanted to say a couple things, so I'm going to put his, go ahead, Colonel.
Well, good morning, Lee Marie. I was truly saddened to hear about Neil's passing, but I feel confident that he's been ushered into the presence of the Lord.
Amen.
He was a tremendous asset to our county, and I had been a longtime member of the Robertson County Republican Party, and I was chairman for a while, and he and his wife, Jo, were just tremendous supporters of what we were doing, and always involved. And his work there with the radio station was particularly meaningful to the county, as he always tried to present all sides of whatever was being discussed. But Neil was a real treasure to our county. I thought a lot of him, and he's going to be missed, greatly. And my prayers go out to his wife, Jo, just a remarkable lady, and I hope that there will be a good attendance this afternoon for his memorial service.
Yes. Thank you very much, Colonel. I appreciate that. Those are all true, very true things, and so we really appreciate you calling in. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Okay.
There was one project that I remember he was working with. It was converting the old school. I can't remember now the name of it. Somebody can help me out here. Working with the old school. Bransford. Yes, and that's one project he never gave up on. He never gave up on that project, and to watch him go through, the ups and downs, and taking on something like that's not easy, and especially to get the whole community behind it, which he was good at doing. He was really good at doing, and I'm really going to miss the guy. He and Jo both, not just employers, but being here so long, and they were like family. We were like family. They knew my family, knew the problems that we would encounter, and I know some of the problems that they encountered from time to time, and we shared them, and we talked about them. And that's another thing. You don't always have that relationship with your employer, of which I did, which I appreciated very much that I had that, and that meant a lot to me. And Jo and I are still close, and Neil up till the end, we were close. I have great love for both of them, and I'll be at the service today at 2:00. I've got a word or two I'd like to say there too. Is it's just it's sad in one way, and then sometimes think that when someone you love passes, you're sad, and of course you're going to be. You're going to be. But sometimes I look at myself like this, and I think, to be sad for, say, Neil is being selfish, because it's not really, even though you're sad at the time, but you got great memories to bring to keep them alive. Okay, and even though you're sad, it's really a celebration because you know. If you know somebody as well and see them going through day by day and remembering how active they were, and you see them laying there and you know, and now he doesn't worry about that anymore.
That's right. Well, we have Brother T. Rawls here from Organic Community Church. He wanted to say a few words, so let me go ahead, Brother T.
Well, good morning. I'm enjoying the show this morning. You guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
We ought to have the daddy on more often. Making a good sidekick for you there, Lee Marie. You guys are doing great this morning. I just wanted to say a couple of quick words and echo what's already been said. Neil was a great leader in our community. He was also a very approachable guy. He had more knowledge and more expertise than probably any of us recognize or realize, but he was so approachable and friendly and just always accommodating. The occasions that I might fill in for my cousin Perry, who had a gospel show there on Sunday morning for over 20 years, when I would fill in many times, and I didn't know what I was doing, Perry just gave me the opportunity and said, come on, I'll show you, push this button, do this, and push this to do that. And Neil would come by a couple of times just to check on me. He'd say, it's okay if you got everything and your questions. And just a great guy. Gave me an opportunity to do something I'd never done but always wanted to do. And that's just the kind of guy he was. And
well, and look what that turned into, you know?
Yeah. Here we are. And now I get the opportunity to pick the music there for another occasion with you guys. But Neil gave me that opportunity. And also my dad had a program on Sunday morning for several years when he had Old Tom's Classic Cars up there across from Payne Chevrolet. He would sponsor a gospel program, and Neil let my dad get behind the microphone, which he loved. He'd have to call in requests and do gospel music, and he did that for several years. And so got some connections there with Neil, and I think we talked about it before, Marie, you and I. My grandmother was part of the old Greenbrier Quartet. That was the first artist of any kind to be broadcast over the old WSIX radio, and it was in Springfield. And they went live and did some gospel music on the air. So it's kind of a full circle moment for me to get to be part of the what became the same station that we're on now. And, so
good point.
So yeah, it's just great. It's a blessing. And Neil, we'll see you again, brother.
That's right.
We miss you.
Awesome.
All right. Just want to comment real quick.
Thank you, Brother T. Appreciate that.
All right. Enjoying it.
All right. And that's a good point. T also has the American Top Gospel Facebook page. Mm-hmm. And for those of you that don't know, that is a great site to follow the, good old Southern gospel, groups that are coming to town. He's bringing them here. And oftentimes he will mention WSGI and WDBL. So that's great. Yeah. I see the whole full circle happening here. So, excellent.
I really, don't know a lot about gospel music. I really don't. But I'm learning. I tell you, my favorite group, the Isaacs.
Oh,
the Isaacs have the greatest harmony. Mm-hmm. And I had an opportunity to meet Lily Isaac and the mother. And I didn't know what she did, and so we were having a conversation, and she said, "What do you do?" And I said, "Well, I have a rock and roll band. I perform. I do this. I write some songs. Da 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 da. And I said, "What do you do?" She said, "Well, I sing gospel music. Me and my children, and we have a gospel group, and we sing, and I'm thinking in my mind, oh, isn't that nice, a mom and her kids singing at church, and I had no idea who she was. And so I said, well, I'd like to come and hear you all sometime too. Where do you perform? And she said, well, we'll be on the Grand Ole Opry. And I said, oh, how stupid am I? I'm just the dumbest guy. But then after I heard them, and and heard what they could do. One of the not just in gospel music, but in any music, they've got the greatest harmony I've ever heard, and things that they can do is fabulous. So hats off to the Isaacs.
Yes. Okay, we do have another call. This person just asked me to call them, so I'm going to give them a call. And let's see if this goes through.
Hello.
Oh, this is Dr. Arlin Smith of Purpose Life Church. He asked me to call him, so go ahead. You're live on air.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Just want to say real quick for Neil, or in memory of Neil, he is an inspiration to the care and the concern of our community. He kind of inspired me just to get a little more involved in our community and doing things to impact it. And that's probably my biggest memory for Mr. Neil, is just how much he loved and cared about Robertson County and the people. And that's a big memory for me when I think about Neil.
I love that. Yes, he was involved in so many things, and that's an excellent point. Thank you, Dr. Arlin.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, bye-bye.
He's going to have a military funeral today. And it comes to mind about how much he supported the military on the station. And there was one lady that was on here that had written a book. I think her mother was pen pals.
Oh, Susan Hunter.
Susan Hunter. That's a great book.
Yeah, she has 2 out now. So she has 77 Letters was the first book, which is excellent, about our Vietnam veterans, which Neil was one. And then she has the next one, which I believe is the Bravest Generation, which just came out. And they are both wonderful. If you haven't read those, you really need to.
It really, I read that book, and then I did my internet radio show. I'm on Saturday mornings at mybnr.com. And I'm on 8 to 11 here locally. But I read that book, and I did a whole show about that book of songs that she mentioned in that book.
Really?
I went throughout that book.
Does she know that? I should tell her.
I don't know if she does or not. I think somewhere it's still on up in the station is in Virginia that I work through. But however, I have a computer or a setup. I have a studio in my basement. And I won't be live this Saturday because I'll be doing something else. But normally I'm live on the show and take requests. But I read that book and I said, oh, this is just fabulous. So I went through, and I think maybe I can find that somewhere, that show.
Okay.
But it is what's the second book about? If you can tell me part of it.
Well, you're gonna have to read it. We're running out of time, and
we are?
I do need to thank one of our sponsors, and that's Valor Mortgage. So let me just tell you a little bit about them. If you are buying a home, that is one of the biggest decisions you will ever make. So why settle for a lender who treats you just like a number? At Valor Mortgage, they believe that every home buyer deserves a team of people in their corner. So Chris Armatrot and the experienced loan officers at Valor work hard to find the right solution for your life, your budget, your goals, from VA loans and FHA options to conventional and jumbo financing. They have tools to get you to the closing table. They're not just in the business for mortgages. They're also in the business of making home ownership possible for you. So whether you're buying your first home, refinancing, investing in your future, Valor Mortgage is ready to serve you. You can call them at 615-671-9178. Again, that's 615-671-9178, or you can go to valor.mortgage to get pre-approved today, because when it matters most, you deserve a leader you can trust. And Valor Mortgage, NMLS number 1210804. DBA of Encore Lending Group, NMLS 1249911, Equal Housing Lender. Subject to credit approval, rates and terms subject to change without notice, not a commitment to lend. So thank you, Valor Mortgage, for helping to keep this show running. And again, this is Lee Marie in for U-Turn LaVern on 1 Street Over. she's going to take some much needed time off to get everything organized while she is on her break from school. So I will be filling in for her through the 4th of July holiday time. And I'm here with Steve Jarrell, who I asked him to come along because he worked with Neil Peterson for a decade and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Or maybe longer, I care.
yes. And so he had so many wonderful stories. And so I just said, why don't you come on too? And so we do have about 9 minutes left. So I do want to thank all the people who've been calling in and texting. And if you have anything else, please get it in right away so that we can include that in the show. And I'm going to turn things back over to you because I think someone else is calling me. So I'll be right back.
All righty. Brad Carneal, if you're listening in, call in, please. I know you have some stories, and I know that the public would like to hear, not all of them, but maybe some of them. So give me a call so I can put you on the air. And it was good seeing you yesterday, by the way. Once again, we'll help you turn out today for Neil, for his final goodbye, I guess, before entering his resting place. And it's just, you just, I don't know. I just have different thoughts when somebody passes away that I care about. Like I say, I think about how much I'm going to miss them, how much sorrow I'm going to have, and that's only natural. That's just natural. But on the other hand, I feel like I mentioned earlier, I feel some kind of guilt because I know that he's with God. Some people, you wonder, well, did they go up or did they go down? And you wonder about it. But then there are others like Neil Peterson that you have no doubt that they went up. And that's just a wonderful thing. It's just a beautiful thing. And so we'll, and happy birthday, Neil. I know you're looking down on us, and today's his birthday, heavenly birthday. First heavenly birthday, I guess, for you up there, huh? And so that's really nice. And appreciate our pastor over at Highland texting in. A great church. Give them a little plug if you're out and about looking for something great to do or looking for a church to go to. Go down to Ridgetop to Highland, and we would love to have you to come on down. And it's been an honor to be here this morning. I wish I could remember more stories, but at my age, well, I'm glad I'm at my age. I'd rather be seen than viewed, as a pastor told me that one time, but anyway, it was nice of them to invite me to come up here, and it's a pleasure to do this. And Lee is over there talking to somebody. I guess they're going to call in. So once again, I would like to tell you about the Capitol Theater, how wonderful it is. I did have a chance to go down. They had a little preview to make sure everything worked all right. And I got the biggest bag of popcorn I've ever gotten in a theater in my life. I had it for breakfast this morning. I had a little popcorn for breakfast and a large Coke, and I had to get Buzzy to help me carry it in. It's so heavy. But if you get a chance, the movies start today, and you can make reservations and all of that good stuff and go and see it. Last night we watched Toy
Story?
What?
Did you watch Toy Story?
No. We watched what's his name? Top Gun.
Oh, okay,
Maverick.
nice.
Top Gun Maverick.
All right. Well, we have a phone call here from Terry Shows. Okay, Terry, go ahead.
Good morning, Lee Marie. I didn't get a chance to deal with Neil a lot, but what little bit I did, he was a wonderful gentleman. I've seen him at the radio station and was involved a little bit in some of his projects that he did, but he was very active in our local party, and he just seemed like a wonderful man. I know I personally am going to miss him a lot.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you calling in. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we only have about 4 minutes left, and again, we are doing a tribute to the legendary Neil Peterson, and I'm so thankful that he, came and bought WDBL and did everything that he did. LaVern was telling me some stories about just how far ahead he was as far as technology, and just that he was brilliant, that he knew so much more than most people did, and even though he was so quiet, you just wouldn't know. Like some people that know a lot, they make sure that they know a lot,
Right.
But Neil was so humble and just so, so knowledgeable, and he's definitely left such a huge mark on Springfield. Like Buzzy Poole said, like Mayor Buzzy Poole said earlier today, that he in a way put Springfield on the map.
He did. It was unbelievable to me in an area the size of Springfield, how many listeners we did have. And there was a time when we broadcast on the internet too, until you pay a lot of bills in this business. ASCAP, BMI, CSAC, it's all necessary, and then they kept adding, another company, Sound Exchange. Mm-hmm. So they kept coming, and you got to pay them for the music, and then to climb the tower, to have somebody, if a light bulb burns out on top, you got to have somebody to climb that tower. I wouldn't want to do it, would you?
No, definitely not.
So there's a lot of expenses, and Neil didn't get rich by the station.
Right.
He was here because he loved it. Mm-hmm. And he loved being involved for the community.
Yeah, he loved the community. And I'm going to read this a little bit more about Neil because in case for those that don't know, Neil Walter Peterson, husband, veteran, and dedicated community leader, passed away peacefully in his home on May 29th, 2026. Neil was born in Portland, Oregon on June 19th, 1942, to Francis L. Peet and Marjorie Peterson. He was baptized at Alberta Evangelical United Brethren Church in Portland, Oregon. He graduated from Cal State University Long Beach with a Bachelor of Arts in Communication Studies. He proudly served his country in the United States Army, exemplifying the principles of duty, honor, and service as Army rank SP5 security classification, which in quotes it says top secret crypto. He served at Supremo Headquarters Allied Powers Europe and Headquarters United States Army Vietnam. He married the love of his life, Joanne Peterson, who we all love too, on August 13, 1971, after they met while attending Contra Data computer classes. Neil retired from the city of LA as the Information Systems Manager for the World Port of LA. Upon his retirement, Neil sought a new venture and fulfilled a dream of owning a radio station. With the encouragement of his wife, who suggested he look near her hometown of Memphis, Tennessee, he became the owner of WSGI and WDBL AM radio stations in Springfield, Tennessee. Neil's dedication to public service was evident through his extensive civic involvement. He served on the board of directors of the Robertson County Chamber of Commerce, the Springfield-Robertson County Airport Board of Directors, and the Bransford Community Center Board. He was also on the Building and Renovation Committee for the Stokes-Brown Public Library, an active member of the Kiwanis Club of Springfield and the Amateur Radio Club. He regularly attended Springfield Baptist Church and Tom Onstott's Sunday School class. Neil was preceded in death by his parents, Francis L. Peet and Marjorie Peterson. He's survived by his wife, Joanne Peterson, his two brothers, Roger Tomoko Peterson and John Connie Peterson, and many nephews and nieces. Those are obviously the spouses there. Neil will be remembered for his character, leadership, generosity, and steadfast commitment to the community he proudly served. His contributions have left a lasting impact on Robertson County, and his memory will continue to be honored by those whose lives were enriched through his friendship, service, and example. He will be greatly missed and fondly remembered by all who had the privilege of knowing him. And then again, the gravesite memorial will be held today on his birthday at Springfield Memorial Gardens This is Friday, June 19th at 2 p.m., of course, with military honors. And in lieu of flowers, you can send donations to the VFW Post 2120. And that address is P.O. Box 788, Greenbrier, Tennessee, 37073. Again, that's the VFW Post 2120, P.O. Box 788, Greenbrier, Tennessee, 37073. And that takes us right to the 8 o'clock hour. So I know that I had some people that wanted to put comments in. And so, yes, you can still put those comments in the section of our Facebook page. You can go ahead and go on that and add them at any time. This particular broadcast will be available for 30 days on Facebook. But the YouTube version of it, of course, lasts a lot longer. So I know that a lot of you have friends that knew Neil. And so you're going to want to forward this to them and ask them to put comments in as well. And so you can go ahead and do that. And we just thank you, Steve, so much for coming in and being a part of this.
Well, it was an honor. Thanks for inviting me.
And thank you, Joe. And it was such a God thing, actually, that I ran into Joe at the market just a few days ago. And it was like such a God thing because I've never run into her in the market before. And so that was such a blessing to be able to see her and to touch base. And please remember to be praying for her and the whole family at this difficult time. And but hopefully you all will go out and see her today at Springfield Memorial Gardens. All right, this has been Lee Marie and Steve Gerald filling in for U-Turn LaVern on One Street Over. God bless, and we'll see you soon.